You need to watch this if you struggle with staying unnoticed, because mastering stealth could save your life. Before we dive in, make sure to like, share and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss a survival tip. There's a moment in every conflict when, well, visibility becomes vulnerability. In every war, from the shadowed jungles of the Pacific to the frozen edges of the Eastern Front, the soldiers who survived the longest weren't always the strongest or the fastest. They were the ones who mastered the art of disappearing. The ones who moved without a trace, gathered what they needed, sent signals only when they chose to, and slipped past danger like ghosts in their own landscape. Stealth wasn't a tactic. It was, life insurance. That's why today's guide digs into the timeless principles behind these fieldcraft techniques. These concepts didn't start with modern war, and they won't end with it. They remain as relevant for today's outdoorsman or survival-minded citizen as they were for scouts, partisans and reconnaissance units who once depended on them for every step. So let's break down how the world's most experienced fighters, hunters and fieldcraft experts handled concealment, movement, resource gathering and rescue signalling under the harshest conditions. This isn't theatrics. This is practical, grounded skill, adapted, simplified and explained so you can apply it whenever the situation demands. Personal camouflage begins with removing every unnatural signature. Long before specialized face paints existed, troops darkened their skin with ash, mud, crushed plants. Really, anything that broke up the human outline. The principle remains the same. Shine is the enemy. Watches turned inward, metal removed, bright fabrics covered, and the face and hands dulled with light and dark tones that cancel natural highlights. The goal isn't to paint stripes. It's to flatten the face into the environment. High points like the brow, nose, cheekbones and jaw catch sunlight first, so they're toned down with darker pigment. Low areas get lighter tones to balance the contrast. When done correctly, the human head stops looking like a sphere and begins blending as a muted, irregular form. Improvised vegetation camouflage works when it mimics the landscape exactly. Throughout history, scouts created makeshift ghillie systems from whatever the terrain offered. The principle is uniform. Build a frame, weave local vegetation, and, refresh it often. A bent sapling or flexible branch becomes a lightweight rig for attaching leaves, grass and twigs. What really matters is sourcing from multiple spots rather than stripping a single branch bare, because, a tracker spots unnatural harvesting instantly. The advantage of this kind of cover is mobility. It can go over a pack, over the torso, or be used to mask gear that would otherwise stand out. It's not decorative. It's functional camouflage created for the next hour, not the next week. Ground-to-air signaling only works when it's controlled and concealed until the moment you need it. Historically, downed pilots, trap patrols and isolated units relied on signal mirrors and panels, but the danger was exposing themselves to hostile eyes. The method that still matters today is using low-profile positions, lying prone shoulders, lowered reflective surfaces minimized, while maintaining full control of the flash. Camouflage covers the body while the mirror does its work. The technique isn't theatrical, it's simple geometry. Line up the sun, the mirror, and the target aircraft by bouncing a flash across your hand and then through the mirror sighting hole. A single flash can be seen for miles, but only if executed cleanly. Passive fishing traps keep you fed without betraying your position. Wartime survival manuals emphasize this constantly. Time spent waiting with a rod in hand is time exposed. The alternative was small passive systems like trot lines, bank line rigs, and hobo-style reels crafted from whatever containers were available. The value of a quick deploy line system is that it collapses fast, deploys quietly, and works while you stay concealed. Leaders, hooks, and bait do the work under tension, while rocks or submerged stakes handle anchoring. These weren't luxury techniques used in training. They were the difference between calories and starvation for resistance fighters and isolated troops across multiple theaters. Directional signaling tools reduce visibility to unwanted eyes. During the Cold War and late World War II operations, strobes and beacons transitioned from broad flashes to controlled, filtered signals. The logic was clear. If you're evading capture or staying hidden until rescue arrives, you can't afford a light source that illuminates you in all directions. A directional strobe takes that risk away by channeling light toward the intended receiver only. It's a principle that still matters today. Maximize visibility to rescue, minimize visibility to observers on the ground. Ground sign discipline determines whether someone can track you. Every conflict produced expert trackers, and every survival manual warned about careless movement. Soft soil leaves footprints that reveal weight, pace, injury, gear, and direction. Simple tricks like, wearing extra socks over your boots can disperse the edges of a print and make it appear older or less defined, buying a bit of time against pursuit. This isn't science fiction deception. It's just basic physics, really. The softer the outsole, the less impact the tread pattern leaves. Improvised elevated shelters, they provide rest when the ground itself becomes a threat. Whether it was jungle units steering clear of insects and ground moisture, or long-range patrols needing a dry place to sleep, poncho hammocks remained a staple. By using tubular webbing or rope, a poncho turns into an elevated bed that quite cleverly regulates heat and keeps the sleeper concealed beneath the military crest of the terrain, never silhouetted. Folded sides provide warmth, and flipping the poncho becomes instant overhead cover. It's lightweight, fast to hang, and silent to deploy. Efficient cordage management prevents revealing your position. A coil of snagged rope makes noise, catches on vegetation, and forces constant adjustments. The commando coil solves this by keeping webbing compact, flat, and accessible. It's not a decorative knot. It's a field method, meant to keep gear tight to the body so movement stays quiet and controlled. A poncho-based horseshoe pack maintains stealth while carrying essentials. When carrying full rucks wasn't possible, troops improvised smaller, quieter burden systems. A folded poncho with gear rolled inside and tied at both ends becomes a simple pack that rides close to the body, keeps items dry, and makes almost no noise. Mastering stealth survival isn't mythology. It's a blend of discipline, fieldcraft, and respect for the environment. If this deep dive added value to your skill set, support the mission by subscribing to Warfront Survival and sharing this guide with others who appreciate real history and real techniques. Yo!